Hello everyone and welcome back here. Today we're making Hungarian goulash. Now there's multiple versions of this dish. Actually, there's a lot of versions of this dish. There's actually even an American goulash, which you put like over macaroni. This goulash is going to be more of a traditional kind of thicker stew Hungarian goulash. So what you're going to need is a nice cut of beef that would be good for braising like long term. This is a shoulder roast that we've got here. You're going to need some potatoes, Yukon Gold to be specific. They only had baby Yukon Gold. You only need like 2 or 3. But since they're the baby tiny ones, I just grabbed like a bunch and put them there. Some bay leaves, Hungarian sweet paprika, about 6 cloves of garlic, 2 carrots, red bell pepper, orange bell pepper, can of tomatoes or a couple of tomatoes, 2 yellow onions, some parsley, black pepper, and then ground caraway seed. You might notice this isn't ground. That's because I was like, dang, I need to make sure that I get ground caraway, and I went to the store to get it. And I came back with normal caraway seeds, which wouldn't be a big deal if I didn't also already have an entire container of normal caraway seeds right here. And they're mislabeled. That's cool. Well, I mean, I guess they're both technically correctly labeled. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to grind this really quick. Oh, it smells like rye bread. Very nice. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Now we have ground caraway seeds. I must spill so much of this, I'm sure. Oh, maybe. Oh, no. There it is. There we go. Whole bunch of it spilled. Not as bad as I thought, but ground caraway seeds. So to start, we're going to need to get our onions diced up here. And we're going to prep this whole thing in the pressure cooker, but it's time to retire this pressure cooker because we got a new and improved bigger pressure cooker, actual name brand Instant Pot. So we're gonna be using this bad boy. Let's give this one a proper send off. All right, now that we're back inside, let's get this plugged in and sauteing with a bit of butter. Once your butter's nice melted and bubbling, go ahead and start cooking down your onion. Now next up on things to prep, the beef. Now remember, once this beef touches this cutting board, everything else that you cut on here, you have to treat it as if it's raw meat. So we're just gonna cut this into some decent sized chunks. Say maybe like 1 inch, ½ inch chunks, something along this size. Really, the chunk size is kind of up to personal taste. You know, a piece like this you might want to cut in half, but that fat should render off. Remember, please be careful when doing this. You don't want to cut yourself. That looks good. Check on these onions. Wow, the saute feature on this thing is pretty weak, huh? Oh, there's temperature levels on the saute button. So let's crank that bad boy up. Get it hotter. If you're wondering why the beef broth just spawned in, I was supposed this is part of the ingredients. I forgot about it. All right, now that the onions are nice and translucent, we are going to add the beef in so that that can brown up. Will it brown with such a low saute temperature on this thing? Not really sure. Also, like, the amount of onion in here is going to get in the way of the browning. So I don't know why this is how you do this. You would think maybe you put the beef in first in like small batches and then add the onion, but no. Every single recipe that I saw, literally you just throw the beef in. This could also be like venison. I saw some people talking about making it out of pork too. So it's kind of whatever protein you want. Go ahead and mix that all up. Try and get the onion up top and as much of the beef as you can towards the actual bottom so that hopefully it browns a little bit. Oh, and add in the garlic at this point. You could have put the garlic in before the beef, it doesn't matter, but right around the same time. And just give that a few minutes to saute together. While that's going, let's work on prepping some of the other vegetables, like these carrots. I saw someone say that you could do this. Oh, that does actually work. I feel like I lose a lot of carrot doing that though. You also miss some spots, but it did work. Here's the thing, I know this is like better for the knife, but you can't tell me the other way didn't sound cooler. Potatoes, I'm just gonna eighth because of how tiny they are. But you're trying to cut them into like bite-sized pieces. Actually, this one's a little bit longer. You know what would help this release its moisture and make it so I don't forget? Salt. We're just gonna let this brown for a minute. Now that my meat is sort of browned, I mean it is brown in color. I wouldn't call this any Maillard at all, but it is what everyone's looks like when they do this step, so we ride. Go ahead and add in your potatoes and carrots. You can also add your bell pepper in right here if you had prepped it, but I ran out of room on my cutting board. So for now, that's it, but grab yourself an orange bell pepper. It doesn't have to be anything special. Everything's just getting a rustic chop here. You could have left them in as matchsticks if you want. I just think the little squares will cook better. And now cut up your red bell pepper. All right, bell pepper is chopped up. Get it on into the pot. Now it's time for seasoning, so let's start with black pepper. We need half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of the caraway seeds, ground to be specific, in case you forgot. And now for the main seasoning, a quarter cup of sweet Hungarian paprika. I did spill a little in there, but I don't think that's really gonna screw anything up. You're also gonna need to add 2 bay leaves. I feel like those were really small. Is there like another tiny bay leaf fragment? Yeah, we're gonna call that 2 bay leaves. And 1 can of diced tomatoes. Now go ahead and give everything a mix. Now you're gonna top everything off with beef broth. I think this is 2 cups. We'll see if that's good enough. It might need more. It needs a little bit more. Might have been like 3 cups of beef broth. Give it one last good mix. Now put your lid on it. We're gonna pressure cook it on high for about somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. And I'll see you guys then. All right, time is up. Let's vent it. Ooh, it smells good. All right. Let's take a look in here. It's looking good. Let's see, are the potatoes done? Yep, potatoes are done. The meat tender. Seems like it. All right, now this is where things start to differ between American and Hungarian, because theirs is thick. How do we thicken it? Cornstarch slurry, that's how. So we've got some water. Just add in a bit of cornstarch into here. Mix it on up. You want to make sure you don't have any cornstarch clumps. Feel around, scrape the bottom. If you see chunks, keep going. And once you got that nice and smooth, take it and just dump it on in. And mix it up. Feel free to pull out those bay leaves when you see them as well. You might need some more actually. There we go. Now things are getting nice and thick. See, look at that texture. So now let's plate it up. As far as garnish goes, a nice dollop of sour cream. I could have done that way better. And this parsley that was in the beginning of the recipe turns out is just for garnishing. And there you have it. Let me get some glamour shots and I'll be right back. All right, this looks delicious. And as it sits, it's getting thicker as it cools here. So let me just try just straight broth. Okay, pretty tomato forward. I think it needs some salt. Just give this a sprinkling here. Now let's try the broth. Oh yeah, a lot better. I always forget that potatoes are such a salt sponge. Speaking of the potatoes, let's grab a little bit of a vegetable mix here. Okay, really good. There's a nice sweetness from the carrot and the bell pepper there. And a potato, I mean, it's just a potato. Potato's always potato. It's great, tastes good, very basic. But now, something that we're here for, this beef. Look at that, just falls right on apart. Oh my God, so tender. So good. Let me try and get like a little bit of everything. Let's grab some of that sour cream, a little bit of potato, some carrot, some beef. It's just a very hearty stew, which I love. That large sprig of parsley, I could do without. But the rest of this, fantastic. I'd say give it a shot if you got the capability. I don't think this one's very hard. It's a pretty easy dish. And yet so tasty. I'll see you guys next time.